Oh, hi, Rob. How
All
are you?
right. What's up?
How are you doing?
Good. I'm currently in Gainesville, Florida. Where are you? Driving.
What? Still in St. Louis.
Yes. How's the weather there?
It's actually pretty nice here. This week it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be 60s, 70s. And then like next week it's gonna be 40s. So I think this is the end of the nice weather.
Well,
A beautiful.
you've been staying warm and cozy, while you're driving, right?
Oh yeah, I got all I have is heat in here. So now it's time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
we met in such a casual way, and I was like so curious to understand better like the line of work you do. Because, as mentors, coach, like people who are basically like with the purpose to help others. It's like we all share similar journeys or similar struggles, right? And I kind of wanted to first of all introduce you better to the audience. So understanding like what you do, how you do this, and how you actually started doing this. Like when was the moment you had this strike of like, I want to start helping men who suffers from porn addiction and like help them free themselves because I believe this is gonna be great for them. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I was addicted. When I say I was addicted to porn, it wasn't when I look at other people in their situation that they're in, like they are addicted to porn. I more so was just like, you watch porn here and there, there's nothing to do, it's nighttime. But it became a bad habit. It wasn't so bad that I was like buying, you know, I don't know, like subscriptions. It wasn't that bad, but I just knew I had a problem and I wanted to do something about it. And I picked up the first book that I read was Think and Grow Rich.
I've read that one by Napoleon
Yeah,
Hill.
yeah. And so this was back in 2017. Um, and so yeah, I like read it and it just like changed my perspective on life. And I was thinking to myself, why am I watching porn? It's depleting my like energy and the things that I'm doing. Like I love to skateboard and break dance. So all my energy was going to porn and not dancing and skateboarding.
Instead of
So
that, right? Instead of doing the things you that brings you more joy and fun, it was like depleting your energy because you were allocating all of that towards that thing. Is that what you're saying?
exactly, yeah. So all my energy was going to, you know, porn, but it wasn't going to the things that I love the most, dancing and skateboarding.
Mhm.
Um, and so I didn't really have like a huge problem. Yeah, it took me a while to like break the habit. Um, but then later on in 2018, I picked up consulting and I bought the program and everything and it's kind of funny actually because I bought this program, Sam Ovens coaching program, coaching
Oh
course.
my gosh, I've done that one too.
You did that one? So
Yeah.
okay, so you're probably in the group then. The on
I
school.
bought his course after though. Like it wasn't during the program. Like it became available for everyone to purchase it afterwards.
Oh, okay. So it was like later on, like 2020 around there that you
Um,
bought it, or
21, 22. But I like St. Owen's approach very much. Like he's very like straight to the point with
oh,
life and his like career, like story. It's just like very inspiring.
oh, absolutely, yeah, no, yeah. So I bought this program, and I don't know, I like the way he thinks, and yeah, his
Yeah,
lifestyle, and
yeah, exactly. Right.
and so I followed that, and I didn't really know. It's actually funny when entrepreneurs, they'll talk about you need to find your market. And I was new. I'm like, where do I go? What market do I go to? Do I go to an online market? I wasn't thinking that it was finding your audience, the market audience. I'm like over here thinking, I'm like, what does he mean by market? So I was literally just learning and I was figuring out what I wanted to do, how I wanted to help people. And I knew it was porn addiction deep down, but I saw another guy that he interviewed um that also struggled with porn and he was helping people with porn recovery. Uh, and I had the mindset of, oh, he's already doing it. I had to find something else to do. Right. So I'm like, oh, I
Those
wanted to do porn.
moments that beliefs come in, right? Because it's like you have a passion for this, but then suddenly you see somebody else doing it already, and it feels like, oh no, somebody else already took my spot. But not really, because there's a huge market for so many things, and people will like they want to choose the right person to work with. So you are unique at the things you do. But so then what happened then? Like you change your mind because of that, and then you just started looking for something else.
Yeah, I changed my mind. I was like, oh, he's already doing it. And it's actually funny because I'm like going through these different niches that, I don't like. I was 19 or I was 20 years old. And I'm like, oh, let me go into relationship niche. And then I did that for a couple months. I'm like, dude, you haven't been in a long-term relationships. You don't know. You're 20 years old. Who's gonna listen to you? This isn't really something that you want to do. And then I went into weight loss, like coaching, and I went into like, I don't know if you know who the snake juice guy. Have you heard of fasting and drinking snake juice?
No, not that one.
It's
Um,
basically salt water, basically like salt and just fasting and I was taking I was looking into that. I'm like, oh, I can help people lose weight. But then, I was doing that for a couple months and I'm like, dude, who's gonna listen to you? You've never been fat in your life. So
moment exactly that like just strike like that, because like usually all it takes sometimes is like a moment for us to realize our purpose and like this is what I want to do. Or do you think like this actually happened and it like the idea came to your mind and then you stay with this for a while until you like process and you're like, fine, I'll do it? Is that what happened? Okay, I know.
yeah, until I went through all this, oh, I tried this, I tried that, and
Oh,
um I have a little background story on the I don't remember what it was or what I wanted to do. Maybe it was the relationship thing I wanted to do. I'm like, oh, I want to help people in relationships. So I'm in the consulting accelerator group and I, reach out to someone, hey, let's practice, cold calls or, sales calls. And so, I was the right, I'm playing along. They're going and they're doing the thing of, oh, I'm like I need help in my relationship or something like that or whatever it may be. And they're asking me questions and I'm trying to like, play along and I'm trying to play along in their niche because their niche was helping I don't know, helping men that don't have like a father figure or don't have like, guidance in their life,
mm,
something around there. So I'm playing along, right? And they're asking me questions and I'm trying to go along with it. And I live with my roommate at the time, one of my friends, and they're asking me questions like, you know, I don't know, was your dad there in your life? I'm like, no, my dad was never there for me. My mom was never right. And I'm like playing along, and my friend is like listening, like he doesn't know what I'm doing, right? And he goes, "What is he talking about? Like, you have a dad, you're like." And I'm trying to just play along and trying to really feel the character and like go along with it. It was just funny to me that I'm like acting out like I'm like, oh, I don't have any friends. All I have is Facebook friends. And my friends are just listening to like, what's he talking about?
that led you to that moment of like, okay, this is what I'm gonna start doing, and you know you've been doing this now for like how many years, Andrew?
Oh man, since late 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, I like finally I was too I think I was too scared to put myself out there on Facebook that I had a porn addiction, so there was just the start of sharing to the Facebook world that I had a porn addiction. So that's what I was really hiding from. I knew that I wanted to do it, but I wasn't putting myself out there. I wasn't being vulnerable.
Wow, it's beautiful. Like men showing vulnerability, it's incredible because now it's like you serve as an example and an inspiration for so many other people who are also afraid perhaps to reveal like something they struggle with. And because of your love, not only for yourself, but for humanity, makes me think that like, you know what, fuck, I'm gonna do this. Because now other people can see that they're not alone on the journey, that they struggle to and they can find help because help is available, right? I mean, let's face it, there are so many tools nowadays we can use to overcome anything. But maybe the idea that like there's so many tools for many things, we feel like overwhelmed with like, okay, where do I start them? And that's how it's so important to work with someone hands in hand because like especially someone who already overcame something because now you can walk people like through that path, right? Like this is how we start. And like what is the start point to overcome such a thing? Well, first of all, I just want to make it clear here, I'm not the one who struggles with this because like I do expose like different topics in my talk, but what I want to bring to this conversation is the idea that porn addiction is different than like sexually addicted, right? And like, what is addiction really? What does it make one thing to be like? What does it make what makes someone to be addicted to something? Like, is that the amount of times they do in a day? Is it like because they can't stop doing something in order to really chase that thing? Like, talk to us about that a little bit.
They can't stop thinking about it,
Uh,
right? So they avoid it. They're like, no, this is not what I want to do. But their brain is flooded with dopamine,
mhm.
and it's because they were new to it at the start, and then they started doing it over and over and over, and then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes ingrained in them, and it's hard to
Yeah, I
break
mean,
from it.
that's different than like sex, you guys, because like we're not telling you to like leave, your sexual activities or like put your sexuality aside because like what we repress, so like what we repress, is it the one way or
Suppress, suppress like the our emotions, or like
yeah,
our suppress, like yeah.
like for example, I struggle with like suppressing my sexuality for a long time. In my case, it had nothing to do with porn addiction. It was just with like I didn't want to give out. And like I was raised with a family that was very like stricter. My mom didn't really want me to talk to guys when I was a
Mm.
child. Like she's like, you know, you're only allowed to have girlfriends. And obviously that creates like a thing inside a child of like, now I want to have guy friends. And it turns out that most of my friends in life were guys.
Mm-hmm.
Stars, it's like there's so many little things, my friends, that happens in our childhood that can really influence our entire path in our adulthood. And I mean, I don't think it's bad to be active sexually, but I think it's nice to use it with moderation, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
do it
Right.
time is right, and not just prioritize on it. There are so many other things we do that are more important to our life in terms of like accomplishing our purpose and like helping others and so forth. But with porn addiction, like what's the first step you would say that you take someone to actually start that journey of like healing and recovering from porn addiction?
I would say just, I mean, it's very everyone. I think everyone uses this, but just admitting that you have the porn addiction, that you have a porn addiction, just admitting it,
Admitting, yeah,
and don't hide it. It's just like no one. We're afraid to be judged, but really, harsh truth is no one really cares. They don't like everyone's going through a different some kind of addiction, cigarette addiction, alcohol addiction, sex addiction. So, we judge ourselves the most. So, I'm sorry, I think I was getting off track. What was the question again?
the first, like how do you take some, so you said like the first step to help someone heal from addiction, to recover from
Is
addiction, becoming aware.
right.
So now
It's just admitting it.
yeah, there's awareness there. And then do you take them on a set of like steps or like practices or just conversations like to help them understand themselves better and what is leading them to do that? Um,
Um, I think I take them through, like, there's something deeper that they're missing, right? That's not coming out in the
Mm,
open, that they're too afraid or too ashamed to talk about. Maybe something in their childhood that happened that they don't realize. Um, that when they look back and they start asking themselves questions of how and why they got here, and like, oh wow, like, maybe they were um molested, maybe whatever it could be, that they started looking at porn at a young age, and then it became stronger and stronger, and then they just were flooded. Maybe it was, um could be anything. Their parents, uh maybe an uncle, something happened to
yeah,
them
it's
that they
something
don't really, they
it's
suppress
something
the
that,
they right, they suppress it, and then they forget about it. But when you're out in the open and you say, hey, look, this is my problem, you talk to yourself like, this is my problem, you write down on a piece of paper everything that's going on, um and you just, like, let it out. And so then when you keep letting things out and unmasking yourself, then you'll realize, like, oh wait, it'll just hit you, right? Like something that you forgot years ago, that you suppressed, and you're being vulnerable, and it comes out, and you're like, wow, this is why, these are the reasons why. It's because of this. Um and they often, people, like, they want to hide it. They don't want to come out. So
mm,
the you need to really just be vulnerable with yourself and just say, this happened to
yeah.
me.
And what it takes to allow people to get out is like they want to feel comfortable and safe around someone who allows them to really like expose this. Uh,
Mhm,
right. So I guess like you show them like, oh, this is where I've been, this is what I've done. And with that, like people become more comfortable and they start to kind of like admit to you like what are the things they're facing. And then you take basically them on a journey. Starting from there, I know there are many different things that happens throughout the process that, you probably personalize for each person. But most important is to help people to get rid of those fears of being themselves.
mhm,
These fears are like blockages and masks that we use that like society tell us that we need to be like this and like that in order to be accepted, loved, in the world. And that's not really that because you end up like becoming something that you're not. And later ahead the road, you feel empty because you realize you're just full of shit, right?
mhm,
Until you realize the external coping mechanism, external coping mechanisms is like what kind of helps you go through because of all of this. And then one of the strategies people use is, I guess, is like watching porn. They think that's a way to kind of run out of the thoughts and feelings because it's overwhelming.
mhm,
And that action, like, essentially releases, like you said, dopamine, and it gives them like kind of numbs out the emotions and like so forth. I mean, this is your line of work. I'm just saying, is that what
no,
happened?
yeah, no, yeah, yeah. And then the what I've told my clients is, like, look at yourself with kind eyes. Whatever you've done, like, yeah, it happened, but that's not you.
Mm.
That's not you,
Ooh.
right? This is these are habits that you've created, but you can break the habit of being yourself,
Mm.
right? The person that you think you are.
Exactly. That you think you are. Wow.
Yeah. Like, everyone, you think this is who you are, but it's not who you are.
Yeah.
But they are really people, e- everyone, you're very hard on yourself. You are your own critic. You're right. So you're just like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. But you could choose not to be that person. I want to be this person.
Yeah.
Right. And then you start building the new habits to become that person.
Yeah. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
new habits takes time. It takes courage. It takes support. It takes consistency, but it is possible because, like, again, we're not telling you that the thing you like the most, you have to completely like let go of it because like some people can be very addicted to that. I'm not sure if you have had people before, like clients who said, I'm not gonna stop. I know I have to, but like there's a part of them that is like, no, because I need this for my survival, that kind of shit. And it's like it becomes a war sometimes inside one person of like this person who's like struggling from seeing the other part of themselves doing something that is not good for them. And that creates so much resistance in life, so much that they end up losing in terms of opportunities to make better friends, to attract better people, because you attract who you are. And if you do a lot of this thing, you end up attracting people who do the same thing. Like you probably noticed,
Hmm.
right? Like you go to places and like you start conversations like, oh, how interesting, you've done this too, and so forth. And like, it is a journey. It takes a lot of you. But you have Andrew Mulray as a coach, porn addiction specialist, porn addiction recovery specialist, and many other incredible, talented individuals out there that can help people to free themselves from struggling in life, different things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, it's just crazy that, who would have thought that you'd be looking at someone having sex on your phone, that it's just open, it's just out there. Anybody could search it up. Like, what? Like, that's just crazy.
Billionaire
Crazy
industry.
to think about.
Billionaire industry too, right? In terms of like how much they make also for that, because there are so many people, so many users available on this.
Yeah.
But like seriously, like let's talk about like other strategies, because people want to hear about solutions, right? We're focusing on problems here now, and like let's talk about strategies. Like talking about helps, yes, but there are other things you can do too. And
Yeah, no, absolutely.
this might get
You
fun.
know,
Uh-huh.
um, so what I find that helps, so there's two, masturbation and porn addiction come hand in hand. Okay. So when someone is addicted to porn and they masturbate to porn every day, and then they stop watching porn and they're like, I'm just gonna masturbate. They think that it's bad, that masturbating, they can't touch themselves. Oh, it's a sin, but really they got porn warped and masturbating to get masturbation together, that they just think this whole thing that masturbating is bad, right? So to answer your question, like, how do you stop with watching porn and this and that? There's many methods, many things to do. But for me, that I found helps is, okay, number one, you're not going to be masturbating for 30 minutes to an hour, right? You're going to get bored. Just like you're going to get bored of watching porn. That's why people are searching, oh, I want the best video. I want the best video. And they're sexually aroused, right? They keep it coming, they keep it coming. And they're like, I don't want to come to this video. I'm going to watch this other video, right? What I'm getting at is, if you take 5 minutes of your time, okay, where you, or when you tell yourself, okay, I feel like I'm going to give myself sexual pleasure at this time for 5, 10 minutes. And so that time comes around, you're like, okay, I'm going to masturbate consciously and not think of porn and all these things that's warped in your mind, right? Just think of the satisfaction, the feel of just feeling good. Don't think of
Ex-
having sex. Just think of how good it makes you feel, for man and woman, right? So you're like, oh, this feels good. And you're masturbating, you're learning about your body. And so when you're masturbating and you get to, it's called the peak orgasm, where you're about to come, where it feels really good that you don't want to stop, and then you ejaculate. You want to practice not ejaculating, but getting to about 80% instead of 90% to 100, right? So you want to stay in the 80% tile where you're in control of your orgasm. You're like, nope, let's keep it going. Let's keep the sexual energy going. And so you're learning how to control yourself. So no one's gonna masturbate for 15, 20 minutes. You only need about 5, 10 minutes.
I mean, I don't know, like men and women, I guess they're
For
different timelines.
well, women, it does take longer for them to orgasm. But for a man, like, yeah, I mean, you can go on for a little longer if you wanted to, but what I'm saying is just take
Yeah, tell us
time.
what you're saying. What are you saying here?
What I'm saying is if you use it in a positive manner, like, I'm gonna masturbate, I'm gonna feel good, instead of taking, I'm gonna go watch porn and watch this video and just ejaculate,
Yeah,
right? Like, keep your sexual energy and you'll start to feel the energy, right? Instead of, you'll start to feel all that sexual energy. You'll start to have more sense of uh uh power, right? You're in control. You are in control. Don't just ejaculate just because you want to ejaculate. Like, just be in control and just start to play with yourself. Be in, like, play mode with your body, right? Be in play mode. You're just learning about yourself, learning about,
okay.
your sex,
Like,
right? So you're just in play and you're learning, like, oh, this feels good. This feels good, right? Instead of just watching porn and watching someone have sex.
love what you said.
uh,
'Cause okay, well, keep going.
well, what I'm saying is, if you look at masturbation in a different way, in a different light, right? It could be very beneficial to many people, right? You create, like, your life source energy. It's basically like your chi. When you ejaculate, you're releasing your chi, but you keep your chi inside, right? So you're playing with yourself, but you're not coming. But you carry this energy, this sexual energy, everywhere you go, right? So if you look at it as, okay, when you come, you feel tired. You're just like, oh, I don't want to do anything. When you ejaculate, you're just like, okay, I was gonna go, read a book or go do something productive today, but now you ejaculated, you watch porn, and now you feel lazy.
Yeah,
But
you're
what
lazy.
I'm getting at, my point is, when you masturbate for however long you want to masturbate, you can really learn how to control your orgasms.
Yeah, just the consequences of what you said. Like it's not just the laziness. It feels like your thoughts just like operate at a different frequency, at a much lower frequency afterwards.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So that's, when I say, 5, 10 minutes, however long, it doesn't have to be that long. But I'm just getting to the point where if you just control yourself, this is all I need, right? It could be longer, 20 minutes, and then you feel good, right? Like, if you ejaculate, that's fine because you're still practicing. You did it with intention. You're like, okay, I'm gonna practice. Um, there's a thing in Tantra that I've taken from them, for my own. It's called the 21 day challenge. So
Hmm.
you don't come for 21 days, but you do the same methods where you masturbate, but you don't ejaculate.
Oh, okay. Never
And
heard of.
so yeah, yeah. So you do it for 21 days. And like I said, you take about 10, 15 minutes out of your day to masturbate. Um, but you're just feeling your body. You don't ejaculate and you have to go for 21 days.
Okay.
Um,
For men and women.
for men and women. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, when I teach, teaching online is, it's way different than teaching in person. So, I sound crazy when I try to teach people that. I'm like, hey, just, go for, let's do 21 day challenge,
Ooh.
right? If you watch porn every day,
What are their reactions when you tell them that?
sometimes they're like, whoa, what? What is this? All right, this is, or, they're very, sometimes when I get when I people, their reaction, they're like, I don't know about that. But I'm trying to show them that I don't want my clients to think that masturbating is bad. That's
Exactly.
not what I teach. There's a different way of being have there's different ways of pleasure than watching porn, right? So It's just a whole new paradigm and view on
Let's touch
sex.
on that again. Like you guys, maybe the people who are maybe you who's watching this video right now, you struggling with a porn addiction because you think porn is your only source of pleasure because you haven't like got in contact with your body, even though you've been watching porn and masturbating, you think you're in contact with your body, but you're not. You're in
Mhm.
contact with the part in the surface through a screen because you're directing your attention, your energy to an image, to something that you're seeing out there in hope that this will make you feel yourself. And it allows you to feel a little bit of this and that, but in reality, you're not really in contact with your body. So, like, men who struggle with that, they're usually in their heads because they're overthinkers, because they have so many insecurities, because they haven't gone the rabbit hole yet, and like come on, let's just bring you outside to like really understand that life is pleasurable in so many ways. Like maybe you can eat a very healthy and tasty meal and implement that habit like weekly, just to allow yourself to eat pleasurable, like not saying unhealthy food because there's so many healthy foods out there that can be pleasurable too, or like go out in nature. Nature can awake your sexual energy tremendously too. Have you know that, right? Just like
Yep.
go swim, like allow yourself to spend some time in the water, like sauna, or trying yoga, trying like something you haven't done before, just to challenge yourself to really be in contact with your body, to allow all your senses to be aroused. Um, and you see that now that activity, it's no longer your main source of pleasure because there are other things there are available to promote well-being, uh a healthy lifestyle, a pleasurable slash healthy lifestyle, right, Andrew?
Right. And you were saying like get into your body. Like yes, get into your body because we're in our heads when we
Yeah.
watch porn. You're not actually in your body experiencing pleasure. You're in your head watching porn. All this porn
Yeah,
is filled, is flooded dopamine. But
loaded
if
in
you get into your
dopamine.
body, like feel the pleasure,
Yeah.
right? And like walk, there's a thing called Ladihan. Have you heard of Ladihan?
No, tell us about
So
it.
it's more of like you can have a blindfold on and you're just walking really slow. You can do it with a partner. And so your partner, you both are blindfolded and you just walk very slow, just feeling the energy, moving your hands. And so when you come in contact with your partner, you're just feeling touch. I just touch, feeling the body, breathing, breathing, but just we're in life, you're constantly in a rut, running, running. Like I gotta do this, I gotta go here, I gotta go here. But if you just take the time to just let your body flow, get out of your head, get into your body. You could be out in nature, right? And just feel the trees, feel the leaves, right? Like just breathe in that air and just take everything slowly. Whatever is going through your mind, you're very horny, you want to watch porn, just take everything slow. Just be slow. We're constantly, I want to do this, I want to do this, I'm going to go do this. If you just take a minute, just take a minute and just get into your body and move your
And be
body.
mindful, right? That brings out like mindfulness. That's like something that
Mindfulness, exactly. Yeah.
I thought about.
Mindfulness.
Sexual,
Hmm.
there should be like a new topic. We could come up with that, like sexuality mindfully, sexually mindful,
Yeah.
like this. Because like you were talking earlier about like holding up, right? But actually like extending the amount of pleasure that is
Mhm.
possible for everyone. Like you don't need to have a partner to do this, but like getting in contact with your body means like you masturbating your entire body, just like doing things gentle, like touch, right? You start with your feet, just feeling your feet, and then you start bringing your awareness to different aspects in your body. And then you touch like aspects in you that promotes pleasure without going all the way to the main outcome.
Hmm.
Like practicing holding, practicing love, because that's what love is too, my friend. Just like time. It's like you're giving yourself love, and the intention also shaped the whole experience. Because if your intention primarily is just like, I'm in pain, I need to do something to get out of my head, it's too painful, whatever, and you go for that whole experience and then you release, you might feel good for a little bit, but then everything comes back later. But if your intention primarily is to actually be in contact with you, is give love to you, you don't need to call someone out to do this for you. You can learn how to bring that amount of love, pleasure, and satisfaction yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there, what I coach and what I teach, it's outside of porn. It's more so like if someone is in a relationship and they're watching porn more than they're having, you know, a relationship with their partner, intimate relationship, think of yourself um as a teenager, as a kid, right? When you were a kid, before you even knew that you felt sex, just you wanted to be with that person, that woman, that man. You just wanted to be with that person. You wanted their company. Um, when you're addicted to porn, you just want sex, sex, sex. But you just being intimate with the person that you love, holding hands, kissing, like that feels good. There's more to life than sex, and I tell my clients, like, just think of yourself when you were a kid and when you didn't even know what porn is. You just wanted to be with that girl. You wanted to be with that guy. And you wanted to get to know them.
Yeah.
You wanted to get to know them. Like, be that child. Be what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Well, you're saying like to learn to hold, like to learn how to appreciate like the little things, the simple pleasures, and enjoy the process, and
enjoy
essentially,
the process.
especially like delay gratification.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's like building up to sex, it's fun. Like you don't want to just, oh, let's go have sex.
Yeah.
Let's go have sex,
That
right?
would be a hot topic. We're gonna hold this for another video because
Yep,
I
we can do that.
touched upon like many different hot topics here. And Andrew, thank you so much for I I know you're super busy, but thank you for like coming up here and like sharing your knowledge, like sharing more about your work. Where people can find you nowadays, like they want to work with you, how do they start?
Absolutely. My Instagram is Murray Consulting. You can find me on there, and I have all my links in the description. My Facebook profile, my Facebook page, my Facebook group. You can find me there. It's Murray underscore consulting, Murray. Yeah, you can find me there.
And just message Andrew, and don't be shy because it's gonna make you feel very comfortable and allow the vulnerable side of you to come out because you do have that, and everybody has the potential to become more vulnerable as they understand that you know essentially it takes vulnerability and courage to start the healing process with anything you're struggling with in life. So all
Absolutely.
right, well, thank you, Andrew. Thank you again. It was
Thank
great
you.
talking to you about this.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Well, have a great day.
Thank you. You too.